The jungle was alive with the whispers of night, but near the riverbank, silence fell like a heavy curtain. The air carried the sound of water crashing against rocks, violent and unrelenting, as though the river itself was hungry. And there, struggling against the furious current, was a tiny figure, a baby elephant. Its trunk flailed above the surface, its cries breaking the night air in a desperate plea for life. The jungle seemed to hold its breath. But then, out of the shadows, something unexpected emerged. A tiger, fierce and powerful, stood at the edge of the river, his golden eyes fixed not with hunger, but with something else entirely. In that moment, predator and prey were forgotten. This was no ordinary night. This was a story no one could have ever imagined. The baby elephant had been wandering near the river earlier that evening, straying too far from its herd. It was curious, as young ones often are, reaching its trunk into the water, chasing after butterflies, exploring the edges of its world. But the jungle is not always forgiving. One slip of its little feet and the baby tumbled into the current. The river swallowed it instantly, dragging it away from safety, away from its mother's warmth, away from the protection of the herd. For hours it fought, its small body crashing against branches, scraping against rocks. Its cries were lost in the roar of the river, its strength fading with every passing moment. Alone, weak, and terrified, the calf clung to life by sheer will. And then, fate placed it on a muddy bank, bruised, trembling, but alive. It could barely stand, its body shaking, its eyes wide with fear. And that is when the tiger appeared. The tiger was a hunter, a predator feared by all. His muscles rippled as he approached, his whiskers twitching in the night air. Every instinct said this calf was prey, vulnerable, easy. But instead of lunging, instead of delivering the fatal blow, the tiger did something no one expected. He stopped, his gaze softened, and slowly he sat down, positioning himself between the baby and the jungle. The river had not taken the calf, and neither would he. For reasons no one could explain, this tiger chose to protect. The hours that followed were filled with tension. The jungle is never still. Hyenas prowled in the distance, their eerie laughter echoing through the night. A crocodile's eyes glowed in the river, waiting for another chance. Snakes rustled in the grass. Danger was everywhere, circling closer. But every time a shadow moved, the tiger rose, his teeth bared, his muscles coiled, his growl rumbling like thunder. He stood guard over the tiny elephant, never letting anything near. The calf tried to rise, but its legs wobbled, collapsing under its own weight. Each time it fell, the tiger nudged it gently with his nose, urging it to try again. He paced beside it, circling, keeping predators at bay, never once leaving its side. The night dragged on endlessly, the calf shivering, the tiger restless, the forest pressing in around them. When the first light of dawn touched the trees, the calf was still alive, and it was because of him. Step by step, the tiger began guiding it away from the river, deeper into the jungle. Every stumble, every cry, he was there, patient, silent, steady. He did not roar for the herd. He did not chase the calf away. He simply walked with it, as though he had chosen a role no one could have imagined for him. A role of protector. Days passed. The baby elephant, once fragile and near death, began to regain its strength. It found food in the forest, small shoots and tender leaves, and though it still longed for its mother, it stood taller each morning. And the tiger remained. He never attacked, never abandoned it. Instead, he circled the perimeter each night, his golden eyes scanning the darkness, his presence a shield against the predators who would have devoured the calf in an instant. Something remarkable was happening. The calf was learning to trust the tiger. It no longer cowered when he came close. It no longer trembled at his growl. Sometimes, when the calf lay down to rest, the tiger would settle nearby, their breathing sinking in the rhythm of survival. The calf, once so close to death, had found a strange, unexpected guardian, and the tiger, who had lived his life as a solitary predator, was changing too. For the first time, his nights were not only about hunger, they were about watching, waiting, protecting. It was as if the great beast himself was discovering a new kind of strength, not in the hunt, but in mercy. Then came the day everything changed. A trumpet echoed through the forest, loud, commanding, desperate. The calf froze, ears lifted high, eyes wide with hope. It cried out, a squeal sharp with longing. The sound came again, closer this time, and then the forest erupted. Massive shadows broke through the trees. The herd had returned. The calf stumbled forward, calling with every ounce of strength left in its body. And then, from the dust and trees, its mother appeared. Her trunk stretched, her eyes wide with fear and love. She rushed forward, and when she reached her baby, the jungle itself seemed to shake with her cry. She wrapped her trunk around it, pulling it close, touching every inch to make sure it was real, alive, hers again. The calf pressed into her, trumpeting back, the sound of heartbreak melting into joy. The herd surrounded them, rumbling in relief. But just a few feet away, the tiger stood, silent, watching. He did not move closer. He did not bare his teeth. He simply stood, his golden eyes calm, his body still. The mother saw him, and for a moment, fear flared. She trumpeted, placing herself between him and her baby. The herd followed, ready to defend. But the tiger did not fight. He lowered his head, stepping back, as if to say, "Your calf is safe now." And with that, he turned, melting into the shadows, leaving behind the life he had protected but never claimed. The calf cried out once, a soft trumpet, as if calling after him. But the tiger kept walking, his figure fading until the jungle swallowed him whole. The reunion was complete. The baby was safe. The herd was whole. And somewhere in the forest, a tiger carried a secret. The secret of a night when he chose compassion over hunger, protection over instinct, kindness over cruelty. And so, the jungle kept its secret. The elephants marched on, their trumpets echoing through the valleys. The tiger returned to his solitary path. But within the heart of that forest lived a story of mercy, one that defied the laws of predator and prey. This was not just about strength, or survival, or instinct. This was about choice. A tiger chose not to kill. A tiger chose to guard. And in that choice, a baby elephant lived. A mother's heart was restored. And the world was reminded that compassion exists in every corner of life, even the wildest. Perhaps the calf will grow and never remember the tiger's golden eyes. Perhaps the mother will never know what truly saved her child. But the truth remains. For one night, in one forest, kindness rewrote destiny. And that is the message for all of us. Life is filled with struggle. The world can be cruel. But sometimes, the greatest strength is not in taking, but in giving. Not in fear, but in love. Not in survival, but in compassion. If a tiger can show mercy, so can we. Because in the end, the most powerful thing we can leave behind is not fear, not dominance, not conquest, but kindness. Always kindness. Subscribe for more videos.